Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at USAGLOBALTV.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. My name is Caroline Heward and I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert. This program is brought to you in partnership with E360 TV. Welcome to all our viewers from all over the world. Welcome to viewers that are here for the first time, and also to our viewers, our regular and loyal viewers that are here for the many times. I am really pleased to welcome you to our show. Today's show is Talking Heads, and I'm an expert presenter in today's topic, which is, how do you know when it's time to let someone go? It's a huge topic, and I'm going to look at a very small part of this topic in our show today, and it is part of the Mind and Body Connection series. So let's begin. I thought I'd start off with a definition, as I usually do, and it took me a little while to find the right kind of definition to set the scene for what I'm actually going to be looking at today. So this quote is from Steve Maraboli, and he says, "Let go. How would your life be different if you learnt to let go of things that have already let go of you? From relationships long gone, to old grudges, to regrets, to all the could-haves, should-haves, to the dead friendships you still hang on to. Free yourself from the burden of a past that you cannot change." I want to say the last two lines again. Free yourself from the burden of a past that you cannot change. Steve Maraboli. There are many quotes from the wonderful Steve Maraboli, and this is actually from his website and Instagram. And I felt that he encompasses an awful lot of aspects of letting go, of things, people, situations, and circumstances. So let's dive a little deeper into letting go. Letting go, and I want to look at soul contracts. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it could be somebody's walked into your life for a reason. It could be a holiday romance, a summer romance. It could be a time in your life that you needed direction. So a reason. It could be something that you needed to do as part of your reason for being here. As I said, it could be a season, a holiday romance. It could be a time of, I've heard of many people, especially if they've been in a long-term relationship, whether it be personal, friendship, or business, that they've been together for a long time. And then suddenly the season of that relationship, that friendship, that opportunity is over. Or it could be for a lifetime. And the lifetime could be, and I've had personal experience from this, that I had a wonderful, extraordinary friendship with somebody that I did a lot of study with in corporate, and we graduated off our marketing diploma together, and we had 25 years of an incredible friendship. We had seen our high days, our low days. We had watched our New Year's. We spent 23 of 25 New Years together, and that friendship came to an end. I was really gutted about that friendship coming to an end, and I realized it was the lifetime of me really being in a corporate way and a corporate way of living. So let's look at soul contracts. This is something that might be going into the woo, and sometimes I do woo. And for the ones that are not comfortable with woo-woo, I want to get you to be open to hear what I have to share with you, and you can take on board what feels right or not right. But let's take it as you can be open in your listening. A soul contract is when you enter into an agreement in terms of many, many years ago, before this lifetime. A soul contract is something that you enter into as a soul. We are all souls. And before we entered into this plane and this earth plane, souls came together being pure and innocent, with no ego, with no axe to grind, just pure spirit. And we came together as offering each other a soul contract for learning, for challenge, for wisdom, for grace. And I don't know much about that side of going into that depth of woo, but what I can tell you, I have encountered an extraordinary experience of soul contracts where I've moved on physically, emotionally, and mentally, or I've moved on in some way, but the person, the friendship, the experience, I wanted to hold on to it. And what happens is when your time is up, when your contract, your soul contract is fulfilled, if you don't leave, what happens is there is some kind of conflict or altercation or something that makes things combust. And there is a pushing in a direction to make things combust, so that there is a way that it ends almost in a negative way. And I've experienced this many times in my life because I don't like to let go of anything or anyone. And because I like to stay where I am because I'm comfortable. And when I stay in places and friendships and experiences of being comfortable, it puts me into a situation at times of being very uncomfortable, and very uncomfortable to the point of not being able to say no. It puts me in a place where even though I want the friendship, the relationship, whatever it is that I'm in to continue, it then pushes up all sorts of things that are not working for me and make it difficult. So it moves me into a place of becoming, I would say, what is termed as a pleaser, not feeling comfortable to say, no, I can't do this for these reasons, or this isn't working. I want to look at how we go forward. And I've had such an experience in recent times as well, when I've been studying, and the friendship relationship was only for the time of study. And when the time of study is over, then the relationship, the reason is done. And so the relationship that I want to hold on to no longer is allowed to stay there because the soul contract is fulfilled. And when you have an understanding of soul contracts, no matter how much you fight to stay in what was, it becomes not what it was, but what you think it should be rather than what it is actually. And then there becomes a frustration. So a soul contract is very fascinating. It's really interesting because what we do is unintentionally, we feel safe and we don't want to be wronged. All right, we just want things to go in the way that they should do. But when the soul contract is delivered and fulfilled, it combusts the reason for people being there. And so then it becomes a blame and a shame game, which isn't comfortable for either party, which lands in terms of both parties feeling hurt, feeling upset, feeling angry, because they want to stay together. But the soul contract is done, it's fulfilled. And I've had experiences in friendships, in relationships, where I've realized much later and after the fact But hey, what's combusting here is a soul contract. Because when you let go of a soul contract, when it's fulfilled unconditionally, compassionately, with love, it allows a space for something else, much more precious, to come in that you are ready for. A lifetime. I used to think a lifetime was a lifetime, but it actually isn't. A lifetime can be the lifetime of that friendship or relationship. And when people come into your life, that lifetime can be a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, a lifetime of what you're doing, because the soul contract has come to an end. So let's look at what are the main reasons that people will think about letting go. And the big topic, the big thing that people think of in letting go is bereavement. When there is someone in our life that is important to us has died. Somebody is actually no longer here on this earth plane. And different people have different journeys with grief and bereavement. Some people find it very difficult to express the feelings and emotions, so they go up into the mind and they become focused on the past experiences, events, circumstances, and they become fixed in the conversations and the situation and event of the past. So that is an escape into the mind, which moves into a place of depression, because when you're in the past and thinking about past conversations, situations and experiences, that puts you into a place of depression. If you're thinking about future stuff, it's an anxiety of what might or might not happen. When you move up into the mind, it suppresses the feelings and emotions, which actually is not good. If you suppress the feelings and emotions by talking it out and not feeling or expressing the sadness, the sorrow, the anger, the frustration, if you're not experiencing the emotions, it moves into a place of depression. So never feel uncomfortable for shedding a tear in the place of grief or bereavement. Now, bereavement comes in many, many different ways, and we're going to explore grief in this way during this session today. At a bereavement, somebody physically dies. There is a lot of practical things that you have to do. The registration of the death, there's the funeral, there's the wake, the saying goodbye, the ritual around the grave, or if it's in a church, or if it's... So there's lots of different combinations, because we're all different religions and we all see letting go in terms of a grieving journey in our own way. I happen to know, and I've seen, which was quite surprising to me, that the people that are Indian, they have a wailing ritual where the women and men wail and cry for days. I think it's about a week. And they go into this as a ritual, and it's I guess it's a way of letting go of all those emotions and feelings by a forced wailing. And I believe that that's probably the right way to go, to allow a letting go of what's not there anymore. When you don't let go from a feeling place and an emotional place, then we're in thoughts and activities and actions, which we have to do. We have to get logical and practical. But when we don't handle the feelings and emotions, they begin to hurt us. So never feel uncomfortable if you're the one that shed a tear, or two, or three. Never be afraid if you're the one that has actually been emotional when you shouldn't, when you think you shouldn't be. Letting go of personal relationships. If you're in a relationship where you are dating someone, or you're in there's many types of personal relationships these days. There's many relationships online. There's many relationships in terms of a texting relationship, or, as I've covered in previous weeks, a sexting relationship where you're sending sex messages, videos and photographs. So there's many different types of personal relationships. But when you're ready to let go of those personal relationships, there will be a gap, there will be a hollowness in the heart area, even if you've just been texting, even if you've not actually been dating the person physically, so they've not been physically with you. We emotionally become attached to people, to things, to experiences. And when we don't let them go, because for whatever reason, they've stopped working, or they're not working, or something's changed, your circumstances changed, or their circumstances changed, whatever it is that's changed, that you need to change where you are and let go. Sometimes it's very difficult to do that because it gets into a confrontation of rights and wrongs. And that isn't about what's good about letting go. Letting go is letting go of what was rather than what could be. Because when you let go of what was, you are opening the door for so much more that could possibly be. And one of the things about coming to the end of a year is reflecting, looking back on where you've been, what you've accomplished. I actually write a Christmas newsletter, which I'm still to write, for family and friends, and I pop it in my Christmas card. I haven't written one Christmas card yet, and that's because I always leave those kinds of things to the last minute. They always get them, but I always leave it to the last minute because I like to fully reflect and look at my year, the personal stuff, the physical stuff, and the emotional stuff, as well as the business, as well as the accomplishments. And when I reflect back, it's quite unbelievable what happens. It's quite a cathartic exercise to do. And sometimes I think I've not achieved very much, I've not done very much. But the letting go. And today, if you are listening on the live today, it is 12/12. It is a portal. 12/12 is a portal of an unbelievable strong energy, an earth energy of letting go and allowing a space to bring things in. And when we let go of something that on some level isn't working for us, whatever level that is, if we let go of what's physically not working for us with unconditional compassion, unconditional love, if we let go of the situation, the negativity or the circumstance in that situation, of that relationship, something very powerful happens. It means in this day, in this portal on 12/12, it allows a transformation and a transmutation of what was, what could have been, what should have been, to what could be transformationally, in letting go of what's not working. So when you let go of relationships in particular, it's really important to know you cannot lose what's real. Whatever is real will always stay with you. There is no way it can leave you. So when you're letting go of what's not working, you open the portal, you open the gate for what will transpire. Here's a quote by Brené Brown, and she says, "Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are." And I'm going to look at professional relationships here. And I remember about over a decade ago now, I had an extraordinary professional relationship. It was a business partnership. And that business partnership was financially crippling me. And I was the one that was footing the bill with all the monies and putting all the effort into making it work. The other person had the tech ability, and he was amazing, incredible with that tech ability. And I had the content. And I had the money, and I had the time, and I invested everything and anything, to such a point that I ran through all my savings. And then there was a point that I couldn't pay my mortgage because it hadn't returned on the investment. I hadn't got an ROI. And at that point, I had to have a proper, serious grown-up conversation. And I had to say, I just don't have the money. And it was a very difficult conversation to have because I was trying to avoid having that conversation. I didn't have the money for my mortgage and I didn't have the money to pay my end of month bills at that point. And that was a point that I said, I cannot continue because there is nothing left for me to give, because I can't continue with the finances. And because I was genuinely honest, and I wish I'd have done it much sooner, he said, that's okay. We have something amazing here. You'll be back when you have the money. And I said, yes. And that was because I authentically went in and spoke my truth. And it was not personal. It wasn't that he did anything wrong or I did anything wrong. Sometimes we have to consider the survival in our current Western times. And it is challenging to get to that level of authenticity. And I did in that point. And we became forever friends because he really got me and he really understood it was not personal. It was about survival. Now, what happened after that friendship and partnership ended was that he started to share with me in the very next message. He's been going here, there, and everywhere, and he's been spending lots of money on dinners and entertaining, and he'd been drunk all over the Christmas, and he'd had such a great time, and he was going shopping. And I was left feeling quite bereft because I didn't even have money to buy any gifts or pay my mortgage. And that's when I realised, before that ever happens again, I have to get sensible and practical, because that's what it's about. To be authentic is to be your authentic, honest, professional self. The law of detachment. When we desperately cling and chase after what's repelled from us, we gain more by letting go than holding on. This is a Buddhist practice of letting go, of detachment. When we detach, when we stop trying to cling to something that is not working, like I stopped clinging to that professional relationship because the finances just didn't stack up. There was no return on investment, and it was obvious, it was in my balance sheet. I kept holding on, hoping for something different in that space of being attached. And this is how the Buddhist law of detachment works, that when you detach from holding on to something that's not working, when you open the gate, open the door and detach, something miraculous happens. Things can change in an instant. Sorry, I can't click. In an instant. And when you let go, you detach from any outcomes for yourself, the situation, or others. It's incredible what can happen for you as a person as you grow through the challenge and you move in your authentic journey. There is no rationale in being attached, because when you attach yourself to something, you actually stop anything coming in terms of opportunity. When you're focused on what's not working, you attach that situation to what's not working. It stops anything coming in universally. So the law of detachment is quite a big practice. And when you practice the law of detachment, when you detach and let go of what's not working, incredible opportunities and magic can happen. So I invite you to practice the law of detachment. The law of impermanence. This is a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my very, very wonderful and favourite monks, who has a wealth of wisdom to share. It is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. Let me repeat that. It is not impermanence. It is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. Life is a journey. It is an exploration. We don't get born and think about the day that we die when we're born. It is a journey. And along that journey path, different people, situations, events, and experiences come in. Now, when we let go of things being the way that they are, the comfortability of being important to us, the fact that we're comfortable in how it is, something incredible happens. We allow something in that could never possibly come in if we were attached to what we think we're feeling we need to be. And if we understand that there is nothing that is permanent in life, including ourselves, we are not permanently here. There is an impermanence. Everything is to change. And if we allow that door to open on 12/12, I invite you to consider what you could possibly bring into your life. Rich Schiffman, he said, when you sit quietly and let go of every false definition of everything you think you know about who you are, and then be what's left, what remains is the untarnished presence of who you've always been and still really are. Eric Schiffman. I leave you not with a negative experience, but with an open door for opportunity of what might come in the following times as you let go. Thank you for your interest and your attention. Please subscribe to USA Global TV and Radio. You can find all of my Talking Heads episodes under the playlist Talking Heads under my name, Caroline Heward. Please do reach out to me if I may be of service to you now or in the future. Our new year is approaching. We have only a few weeks left. Many people will be suffering and in extraordinary times of change. Please do reach out to me for a free consultation. I look forward to being of service to you. Reach out to me on nomorestress@live.co.uk or call +44 if you're international, 0523 120 189. Namaste.